It's this. The Commodore Amiga Model 500. Okay, well, we're all set up now and ready to play Shadow of the Beast. But before we take a look at it, I just wanted to show you I've actually still got something, one thing at least, from my time as an Amiga owner, and that is my joystick that I used to use. I think I kept hold of it because it's Sega compatible. But there we go, we've got a little bit of authenticity here. So I'm going to be playing Shadow of the Beast again after all these years with the joystick that I used to play on it originally with. So, let's take a look. It's quite amazing to think that Shadow of the Beast was programmed by two really young guys. Martin Edmondson, who was only 21 at the time, and his co-programmer, Paul Howarth, of only 20 years of age. Together, these two guys formed a production team known as Reflections, and they started off their careers coding such classic titles as Raven Skull, Codename Droid, and a conversion of Striker's Run on the Acorn Electron. And the next platform they moved on to was the Amiga and Shadow of the Beast. The company is still in existence today, and they're part of Ubisoft, and they trade under the name Ubisoft Reflections, and Martin Edmondson is actually still a key member of the team there. Shadow of the Beast was published by one of the leading companies of that era, Psygnosis, who later went on to publish such Amiga classics as Armageddon and Lemmings. They were later bought out by Sony and produced some pretty popular titles on that system, including Destruction Derby and Wipeout. Beast has a fairly simplistic plot, and it's laid down in the instruction manual. You are a warrior of beastly proportions who has been created for the sole purpose of doing the bidding of your master, the Beast Lord. From what little information is given in the manual, it seems that this master is the leader of an alien race who live aboard giant ships that hang in the skies above your world. Now, I assume that this planet is Earth because in the story it does mention that you were once a human child who had been abducted from his parents and then over the years changed into this beast. You've been serving the Beastmaster faithfully for years because your memory had been erased and the truth kept from you. Your journey really begins at the point where you discover the truth of the death of your father. When you discover his fate, you decide to go on a quest for revenge. The one thing that really floored me when I first experienced this game was this. The haunting music forms the most memorable part of the intro sequence. In fact, the whole of the first disc is pretty much just that, the intro sequence. But that doesn't really matter because it's such a chillingly beautiful piece of music. Even to this day, I still love to hear it and find it moving. It's a real testament to just how good a composer David Whittaker really was. He actually made 6 original pieces of music that are used throughout this game, and all of them are beautifully atmospheric. Those sampled pipes that provide the accompanying melody of the theme tune have an imperfect sound due to the limitations of the machine's sampling capabilities, but this gives a uniqueness to the track which therefore makes it unlike many game soundtracks of the modern era. At the time it obviously felt unique too, but it was also because few people had heard such high fidelity music coming from their home computer. As impressive as the soundtrack is, it's not the only thing in this game that, as a 14-year-old boy, left me speechless. It's undeniable that at the time the in-game graphics were nothing short of groundbreaking. Even from the get-go, as we took our first steps into this slightly unfamiliar world, we were presented with a sense of depth that was almost unprecedented. This effect is achieved by using parallax scrolling, which is a technique to give a pseudo 3D effect by having the layers that are in front of the playfield moving faster than those that are behind it. This is something I'd seen before in games like Choplifter, but never to the same number of levels or being so seamlessly integrated as it was in Shadow of the Beast. It really had me stop in my tracks when I first saw it. And it's still impressive and beautiful, even to this day. These two elements alone, the sound and the graphics, were enough to hook me in and, at least at first, overlook the game's many flaws. Play Shadow of the Beast even for a short while and you'll soon realise there isn't much in the way of slick game mechanics. The controls are a bit clunky, and the limited movement and attack options leave you wondering how this beast will ever make it more than a few hundred feet in this world without turning into a pile of soon-to-be decaying bones. Couple this with a pretty high difficulty level and you're left with a fairly inaccessible game for the average gamer. It's an arcade adventure of sorts and approximately 360 screens in length spread across a few different levels or different environments. There are things to collect here and there, but it's quite obvious that there isn't a lot of meat on this beast's bones. But I didn't choose to look at this game because it's the best game on the Amiga or even my favourite game, but I chose it because of how it made me feel when I first saw it. In fact, I chose this game because of how well it worked. And it worked like a really effective piece of advertising or a great movie trailer in that it made you not only want to own the game, but the platform on which I first saw it played. With Beast, it's very much a case of style overshadowing substance, but it's that style that drew people to the game, and it's that style that made me dream of owning a Commodore Amiga. Well, I hope you've enjoyed joining me on this little trip down memory lane. As I'd said in my previous couple of videos, I really like to hear what you have to say about these games and these systems. So please feel free to leave comments and let me know your feelings on Shadow of the Beast and the Commodore Amiga. Also, I'm only 3 episodes in and I'm still trying to find my feet and establish a style here. So let me know what you think about the videos. Any feedback will be greatly appreciated. So, thanks again for watching, and from my living room to your wherever, this is Simon signing off. Bye bye.